Hello students. In my previous lecture I discussed the concept of charge. Now I am going to discuss in this lecture Coulomb's law. And for understanding the Coulomb's law, initially we have to understand about the charge. So I am going to revise it again. Charge is a concept of matter by which we can experience or produce electrical effect or magnetic effect. So hope you guys understand this concept of charge. Now, for understanding the electrostatic force, or which is also called as a Coulomb force, I am taking two charges. Suppose there are two charges are over here. The magnitude of charges are Q1 and Q2, which are kept in a vacuum at a distance small r. Small r is the distance between the centers of the charge, and these two charges are kept in vacuum. So for understanding the electrostatic force or Coulomb's law, we have to initially understand what is the basic concept in this Coulomb's law. According to the Coulomb's law, as we know, if two charges, it may be same kind of charges, means positive positive, maybe negative positive, maybe negative negative, same kind, it may be same kind, it may be opposite kind. So both kind of charges have a force between each other. Clear? So if there is a Q1 magnitude and Q2 magnitude, both are kept at a distance small r in vacuum. So two charges experiences a force, which force is called as a Coulomb force. Getting it? And this force is depend on the two laws, which also called as a Coulomb's law. So what are the two laws? I am going to explain one by one. In this law, what? The force acting between two charges, suppose the force is F, which is acting, it may be attractive, it may be repulsive. Acting between two charges is directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of charges. The force which is acting between two charges which are kept at distance r is directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of charge. Product of the magnitude of charges. This is known as Coulomb's first law or Coulomb's law. Getting it? And the second condition is what? The force which is acting between these two charges is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the charges. So this is basically Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law states that what? Force is acting between two charges which are kept in vacuum, or it may be kept in medium, which I will discuss in further this lecture. So I am taking two charges Q1, Q2 over here. Both charges are kept at a distance small r, and the force is acting between these two charges is satisfied these two laws. First is what? Force is directly proportional to product of the charges. Second is what? Force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance which between the charges which are taken from the center of the charges. Getting it? So what is the mean of directly proportional? As you know that if we increase one magnitude of one charge, then force will increase. What is the mean of the inversely proportion? You know that if we increase the distance, then force will decrease. If we decrease the distance, then force will increase. That's the inversely proportion ratio. After combining, now I am going to combine this. After combining these two, relation, I am going to write the combination of this. It will become Q1 Q2 by R square. This relation will come. And you know that in physics, when we remove this proportionality symbol, we will use a constant over here. Then here we will use a constant. Now the constant will be F is equal, suppose it is a K, and F is equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by R square. This is the Coulomb force. This is a Coulomb force, where K is a proportionality constant and its value is K is equal what? 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Where epsilon naught is what? Epsilon naught is the permittivity of vacuum or free space. Why we are taking these two charges in vacuum or free space? So we will use the permittivity epsilon naught here. Epsilon naught is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12. This is the value of epsilon naught. Now I am going to use this value of K here. So it will become 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. So this is the Coulomb force formula. Coulomb force formula. So epsilon naught is what? Epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space or vacuum. For epsilon naught, and when we put this value epsilon naught over here and put the value of pi, then we will get the total value of 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. It will become 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. This is the value of what? K. K means 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. The value of K is there, 9 into 10 to the power 9. And where epsilon naught is permittivity of free space or vacuum, and its value is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12 is the value Coulomb square per Newton meter square. The value of epsilon naught is what? It is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12, and the value of K, which is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. So this is the electrostatic force formula. This is also called electrostatic force formula, and this is also known as Coulomb's law of electrostatic force. Now I am going to discuss one thing more. When we are taking these two charges in any medium, suppose we are taking these two charges in place of vacuum or space, we are taking these two charges in the medium. When we are taking these charges in the medium, suppose the epsilon is the permittivity of that particular medium where we are putting these two charges which are at a distance small r. Now when we are putting these two charges in the medium, then this formula of force will change. Now the formula will become F in medium, means electrostatic force in medium will become 1 upon 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 by R square. So this formula will change when we are putting these two charges in the medium in place of vacuum or space. Getting it? So what is the relation between these two if you want to find? This is the force in vacuum or space. So I am writing over here FV, and this is the force in medium. When we are putting these two charges in the medium, then formula will change. Only epsilon will change in the place of epsilon naught. Then what is the epsilon and epsilon naught? Now I am going to define the epsilon. Epsilon is what? It is the product of epsilon r, epsilon naught. So epsilon is defined as the, means permittivity of medium is defined as the product of relative permittivity. Epsilon r is what? It is relative permittivity. Epsilon r is relative permittivity. So this is relative permittivity, and it is also known as dielectric constant K. Here is proportionality constant. Now this is a dielectric constant K. So dielectric constant K or epsilon r, which is also called relative permittivity, is defined as the ratio of permittivity in vacuum to the permittivity in medium. So this is the relation What is the relation of dielectric constant? Dielectric constant or relative permittivity is defined as the ratio of permittivity in vacuum to the permittivity in medium to the permittivity in vacuum. So this is the ratio. After using this epsilon value, which will become, if you want to find the value of epsilon from this relation, then you will know that it will become K epsilon naught. Epsilon R or K, both are the same thing. So I am writing over here epsilon equal to K epsilon naught. By putting this value over here, this formula of force will change. Formula of force in medium will change 1 upon 4 pi K epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. So this formula of force will change when we are putting the value of epsilon. And when we compare this force in electrostatic force in medium to the electrostatic force in vacuum, then you know that all the things are same, only K is over here different and rest thing is same. See, compare with that. So by using these two relation, when we divide both relation, the relation will come force in medium upon force in vacuum. Force in medium upon force in vacuum. So you will put what? Force in medium in numerator. So force in medium is numerator will be that. So in numerator it will become 1 by K, and here it will become 1. Why? Because the whole thing is same, so it will cancel out. So what will you say? The force in medium is equal 1 upon K times force in vacuum. So this relation will come. Clear? So force in medium is what? It is inversely proportional to the dielectric constant or what? Relative permittivity. Relative permittivity. And relative permittivity is what? It is epsilon upon epsilon naught. Clear? So what do you understand from this concept? When the force will increase when dielectric constant is decreasing. If we are decreasing the dielectric constant, force will increase. If we increasing the dielectric constant, force will decrease. So these two relations may come from this concept. So Coulomb's law states what? The force acting between two charges is directly proportional to the product of charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the charges. When both charges are kept in any vacuum or in any space, the formula will be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square, where epsilon naught is what? 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12. By using this value, we will get 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught equal to 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton per meter square per Coulomb square. Getting it? And when we are using these charges in the medium, then this formula will change. It will become 1 upon 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 by R square, where epsilon is what? Epsilon is the permittivity in medium, which is defined as product of permittivity in relative permittivity and epsilon naught. So epsilon R and K is known as relative permittivity. Relative permittivity is epsilon by epsilon naught. So by using this, the formula will become and relation will come out. So this is the Coulomb's law of electrostatic force. Getting it, guys? I hope you understand this. So this is the very important law for the electrostats law in vector form. What is Coulomb's law in vector form? As I discussed in the Coulomb's law, there were two charges. The magnitude of the charges were Q1 and Q2, which are kept at a vacuum. Clear? And you also know that this is a force is a vector quantity. So for explaining the vector form, I am going to explain the direction of the force. If both the charges are of opposite kind, means one charge is positive and other is negative, so force will become like that. F12. Force will be attractive in nature. F21. Getting it? So this is the first charge 1 and this is the second charge 2. So when the two charges are of opposite kind, force will be attractive and the direction of force will be what? F12 and F21. Means F12 means 1 is attracted by the charge 2 and F21 is 2 is attracted by the charge 1. So this will be the direction. This will be the vector form of the force which is acting between the two charges when the charges are of opposite nature. And when we are taking these two charges are of same nature, suppose these two charges which are kept in vacuum are of same nature, then the force acting between two charges Q1, Q2 and the direction of force will be that. So this will be the direction of F12 and this will be the direction of F21. Getting it? F12 and F21. When these two charges are of same nature, and when these two charges are of opposite kind. Opposite kind means negative positive or positive negative. This type of two kinds over here. And same means both will be positive positive and both will be negative negative. So this will be the direction of the Coulomb force or electrostatic force which will act between two charges. Now I am going to write the relation of the vector form of the Coulomb's law. So for writing this, we will give two distances over here, R12 and R21. R21. There are two distances, R12 and R21. 1 to 2, 1 2 and 2 to 1, 2 1. Getting it? So when we are writing the vector form of force means F12, we will write the relation 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, you know it, Q1 Q2 divided by R square. This was the formula of the Coulomb force. Now we will write over here as R21 vector mod whole square and R21 cap. R21 cap is the direction of displacement vector and R21 vector is the vector form. So this will be the formula of in vector form for the Coulomb force. Now I am going to write it as F12 vector is equal 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. As you know that R12 and R21 are the two vectors. R12 vector is not equal to R21 vector, but it is equal to R12 vector is equal to minus times of R21 vector. Means both have the opposite direction. But the mod of R12 vector means magnitude of R12 vector and R21 vector. The magnitude of both the vectors are same, which was small r. So we may put the R21 or R12 place small r. Now this relation will be written as Q1 Q2 by R square R cap 21. Clear? So when we are putting this R21 cap into vector form, so we will write it as F12 force 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square, and R21 cap will be R21 vector. By using the definition of unit vector, we will write mod of R21. Mod of R21 is R. So this relation will be change. F12 vector is equal 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by R square it will become r cube. Why? Because mod of r21 is r square into r will become r cube and r21 vector. So this is the vector form of Coulomb force. When we are talking about the force, which force? F12. Talking about the force F12. So we will write F12 is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by r cube F21. Similarly, we may find force F21 force. Now in this force it will become 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by r cube, and here it will be r12 vector. Now see, these are the two relations which indicates the vector formula or vector form of Coulomb force. And from these two relations, you guys understand that F12 and F21 are not equal. It is acting opposite in direction. See, opposite in direction. It may be opposite kind, it may be same kind. So from these two relations, a conclusion will come. What conclusion will come? F12 force is not equal to F21 force. Getting it? It will equal when F12 vector is equal minus times of F21 vector. So this relation will come. Clear? When we are talking about Coulomb's law in vector form, we will use this formula. We will use the direction also over here. Clear? Now I am giving you one concept too. Now when we are taking these two forces in any plane, when we are taking it in plane means it may be 2-dimension plane, it may be 3-dimension plane. Now I am taking a 2-dimension plane over here. So this is a xy plane. I am taking two charges, Q1, Q2. Q1 and Q2. You know that which are distance at r. So in this case, what will we do? We will use the position vector for these two charges. Getting it? We will use the position. Suppose the Q1 charge have a position vector r1 and Q2 charge have a position vector r2, and O is the origin. So we will use over here position vector. Getting it? For position vector, we will write what? R will be what? From the vector, you know that it will become r2 vector minus r1 vector. Getting it? So this will be the vector form. When we are talking about this, so we will write it as a mod. So it will become to what? R vector. So when we are taking these two charges in any plane, we will use r2 vector minus r1 vector in place of what? Mod of r vector or r. So we may change over here. Clear? Similarly, we may put the value of what? Position vector in the 3 dimension. As you know that when we are talking about r1 position vector, then you know that r1, when we are talking about 3 dimension, then we will write like that: xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. So this will be the value of r1 when we are talking in 3-dimension plane. So r1 will be there and r2 will be that. R2 x I, suppose x1 y1 z1, x1 I cap plus I am taking x2 over here, y2 j cap plus z2 k cap. So this will be the value of r2 in 3-dimension plane. So guys, hope you understand when we are talking about Coulomb's law in vector form, what is the main thing? The forces are acting opposite in direction but same in the magnitude. When we are talking about the mod of this, so the magnitude will remain same, means each charge will attract to other charge by a same magnitude of force, means each charge will repel to other charge by the same magnitude of force. Only direction will be different, but the magnitude which are acting for the two charges will remain the same. So this Coulomb's law in vector form indicates what? Charges may be same kind, may be opposite kind, force will remain the same in magnitude but will act in the opposite in the direction. So this is the basic concept of Coulomb's law.